Good morning. You want to see how we made these two hammer handles? Stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do next. Well, welcome to another Memphis Monday, Memphis Monday 261. The first year of our the first week of our 6th year. So we've got to be pretty excited about that. Today we're going to do make some hammer handles. A friend of mine brought in a couple of broken hammers from work, and he wanted me to fix them for him. And I said I would, because that works perfect, because we have to do that wardrobe yet for the wardrobe part of that wardrobe where we worked on a couple of weeks ago. But I'll be working on that for more than a week, and this will take less than a week, so it's all going to work out good. So nothing's going to work out unless we do what? You got it. We need to knock off that chit chat and get to work. Hammerheads. This, I don't know what kind of hammer this is. He says they use it to take pins out. And then this is just a regular engineer's hammer. This is the handle. It's totally broke. Was in this one, and this is the handle that came out of the engineer's handle. Broke, snapped off right there. The plan is make a new handle for this one, and then I'm going to go crazy here. I'm going to take this old handle. This is still a good handle, except where it snapped off there. I'm going to try to rework the head here so that it fits in this other hammer. So he'll get this hammer handle back, but with this head on it. Sounds like a pretty neat plan, doesn't it? This kind of works like magic. What you do is you take the handle you want to reproduce and put it on your stock. This is ash, it's straight grained ash. See, it goes all the way through. I don't have any hickory. So just outline it all the way around that way, and then flip it over on the side. Now you put the hammer handle on the side and outline it again. Now what will happen is I'll be able to take this stock over to old Thumpy and run it through this way on my bandsaw and cut out that handle that way. Then I flip it over, then I reattach these pieces back to the side, flip it over, and run it through this way and cut it out this way. It's kind of three-dimensional thinking, but in the end, what you end up with is a blank, sort of like this. This is a handle I made that way. This then just falls out of this blank, something like that. Before you ask what that thumping noise is, I call this old Thumpy because about 2 years ago, I wrecked this blade and bent it, and it kind of wobbles on the guides there a little bit, or quite a bit. But I've kept it that way because darn thing works. It works better. I think as it goes in and out, it cleans the kerf out. It works real good. So now for the magic, we cut these pieces off, these side pieces. But now we're going to put them back on. We're going to put them back on and tack them. I'll use this electric brad gun. So now what I do, we cut it. Well, that's not good. Look at there. That I need to fix that. No, I don't. So we cut it this way, and now we flipped it over, and now we're going to cut it this way. And our hammer handle is somewhere in between. So we cut it one way, we flipped it over and cut it the other way. So we got this piece, we got this piece, we got this piece, we got this piece. So now we'll carve this thing down and see if we can make it into a hammer handle. Okay, there's our blank. So we know that our hammer handle lives inside that blank somewhere. We need to put in the end here. This would be an oval. Looks like an ellipse. And that continues here to the center. And then we have an octagon here. Put a new belt on there. I don't know if I can give you any takeaways on carving. I just carve it down, you know, until it looks like this. Keep this as an example and just kind of keep working with it. Now what I'm doing here is I got some 40 grit sandpaper. I'm going to continue shaping it a little bit. The deal is you don't have to sand very much because we cut the thing out on the bandsaw. Now I'm going to put a notch in it so I can put the wedge in. This is always scary. And what you got to do is you got to drive that hammer head on. Where it's back up against this, see this sloping ridge here? So the wedge stops right there, and then the body, the inside of that body of that hammerhead rests against this solid wood here, and that's where it gets its strength. This basically just locks it on. Now this is how you drive the hammerhead on. You find something solid, and if you don't have, I have this mandrel, but it has to be something solid. It can't be a table or something, like concrete or asphalt, or best thing is a big piece of metal like this. Then you hit the handle, you pound down on the handle, and that'll drive it up on the shaft. Now you can see our hammer handle is driven up against that shaft. so it's got a good mating surface. Drive this wedge in. You see the end of the thing there. Put this wedge in. You can make these wedges or you can buy them at the hardware store. And you can also buy these little metal wedges too. And now you need to put this down on a solid surface because you don't want to knock that head off there. Before I put that steel wedge in, I'll go ahead and trim this wedge, this wooden wedge back some. And now I'll put that steel wedge in. It goes crossways this way. I'll show you when I get it in there. Okay, what I'm going to do is just hand sand this thing. And then in a few minutes, after I get done sanding it, I can put some epoxy down in this head down here. Well, I put that epoxy down in the, fill up the cracks. I'll sand it down once it hardens. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take this broken handle and put it on this smaller, smaller hammerhead. I think the traditional method of, shaping, well, the whole hammerhead is with a draw knife and a file, but I like to use a sander. Okay, I got somewhat filed down some. I'm going to put it on there and try to drive it on and see how much farther we got to go. Now what I'll do is take it off. I'll show you something. That's what I wanted to show you. See the black marks? That'll tell me where I still need to trim. So now I'll take those, I'll be able to just sand off those marks and then try it again. Okay, that's in there pretty good. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and cut the wedge slot and we'll be on a roll. Well, let's go ahead and drive this wedge in. Well, our little hammer is finished. Got the wedge going across there, and then the metal wedge going across this way. I put a little bit of epoxy around it, kind of seal it off. But I think it's going to make a pretty good handle. Now you notice this handle here has actually been painted. My guess is because it's a shop hammer and they don't want grease to soak into the wood. I'm sure you've seen old hammers that are black like this. See, they've been used in the shop, and you get greasy hands on them, and pretty soon they are just black because of the oil. But with a painted handle, that won't happen because you can wipe them off. So using that theory, I've got our new handle I built. I'm going to paint it with some of this high performance enamel. Let's take it outside and do it. Okay, let's give this scheme a try. There we have it, for Memphis Monday 261, our two hammer handles. We fixed both handles for a total cost of $0. We made this hammer handle here out of some hardwood firewood that was nice and dry. And we used the broken handle out of this one to fix this other one over here. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied. All right, so I guess that'll do it for another Memphis Monday 261, first week of our 6th year. Today we made a couple of hammer handles for free. Made this one out of a piece of plywood, firewood, and we made this one out of the old handle from this one. You can make these things anywhere. You can carve them with a knife, chisel, sander, whatever you want. And I think the takeaway was showing you how to reproduce a handle shape on bandsaw. You can also use a jigsaw to cut it out. It's a pretty good technique. I didn't invent it, but all right. So that's all I got. So like and favorite, share, and all the stuff you on the internet. Most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.